Hey, what's up, Artivist? How's it going? What's going on with your goals? Have you reached any of them? I didn't get the goal of getting a new show booking last week, but that's okay. But some amazing things happened this week. Really wonderful, positive, good stuff for storytelling, good stuff for the kind of artivism storytelling that I want to tell. So I'll fill you in a little bit on those things. Okay, Beyonce's Formation video came out last week just before the Super Bowl, and that she performed that song in the Super Bowl. And there was a lot of conversation about lots of things in the video, but something that was really important to me was the conversations about colorism and shadeism. Especially in Louisiana, there are people called Creoles. And what I didn't know is that their Creole does not mean light skinned, and that is always the idea that I had. But a woman named Yaba Blay wrote an article about living in Louisiana and having some really painful moments around shadeism and colorism, and I was really moved by her piece, and so I posted about it. And then some other folks from the mixed and Creole community came on and were like, wait a minute, her analysis is lacking the fact that there are lots of Creole people who are dark skinned, and it has to do with the geographical area you're in. And so it was really a great conversation. So shout out to Carolyn Battle Cochran, to Johanna Workman, to Senta Burke for sharing your very personal story on our thread. And I thank you so much. I just want to keep talking about things, and I know I'm going to get things wrong, especially when it's something that I have zero context on. So I just appreciate the conversation, and let's keep that going. On Tuesday, I went to KPCC, which is our local NPR station, one of our local NPR stations here in LA, and had an interview with Leslie Beristain Rojas. She's doing a story about multiracial identity in Los Angeles, and so that's coming out on Monday. It was a wonderful opportunity to talk a little bit about One Drop and talk about my experiences, it being a mixed person growing up, and also how I've evolved around that, and how my focus more is on justice. So we had a great conversation, and I'll put a link once that comes out, and I'll talk about it more next week. While I was at KPCC, I met Liz Garvis, who directed the What Happened, Miss Simone documentary about Nina Simone. And so I saw her and I was like, Liz Garvis! So anyway, I hugged her and said thank you for her documentary. If you didn't see it, I believe it's still on Netflix. It's really powerful. Speaking of shadeism and colorism, it is very, very clear in this movie. So check out that documentary. Okay, I have been an ESL teacher for the majority of my life at this point. I started teaching ESL after I joined the Peace Corps right after college, and I lived in West Africa, and I taught ESL, and I coordinated the English department in the Cape Verdean Islands, West Africa, and I've been teaching ESL pretty steadily ever since then. Everywhere, in New York City, in a high school in the South Bronx. I taught fifth grade for 1 year, a bilingual fifth grade class. I then taught in a few schools in Los Angeles, including Cal America, where I met my husband, Diego. And oh my gosh, maybe I'm gonna cry. After that, I taught at East LA College for a long time. And then for the last about eight years or so, I've been teaching at Glendale Community College, where the majority of the students are Armenian. We've recently had a lot of Syrian students come in, and still there are also Latin American students there, mostly Guatemalan and Mexican and Salvadorian. And Thursday was my last day teaching. And so I'm making a transition. I can talk about the transition probably in next week's video, but teaching ESL has been just such a wonderful, wonderful part of my life for the last 20 years, and I will miss it so much. I'll miss my students. I will certainly infuse my new job with everything, all the incredible tools that I learned, and I'll also maintain my relationships with the communities that motivated me to be grateful for everything that I have, and to be grounded, and to really understand what things are important in life, and that those are not material things, and they are not about money and power. They are about community. They are about family. They are about love. And so I'm saying goodbye to ESL teaching, but not to my life as an educator and to my life as a person who's committed to justice and equity for everyone. So I want to say thank you. If you're one of my students, I will miss you so much, and you have made my life wonderful, and thank you for that. And you have my email address, so email me anytime, and I'll remind you how to use be verb correctly, and what is a noun and what is a subject pronoun. I'll remind you of all of that. So I am still your friend forever. I am so proud, I have to say, of the students from Cal State LA. So I went to Cal State LA for my MFA, and the students there have made a list of demands to the president of Cal State LA. I'm going to put the link so that you can read. They got it. They got the things that they were asking for, including divesting from private prisons, money to support their work. It's so exciting. I'm so proud. And congratulations. Keep up the amazing work you're doing. And shout outs to everybody who's been watching these videos. Thank you for watching them. Thank you for your likes on the videos. Please subscribe if you haven't. And also interact with me. I'm sorry, I know this is a lot of just talking at you, but I don't mean it to be. What I mean it to be is to hear from you, your thoughts and questions. What do you let's talk about Shadeism. ESL students, if you're watching, you can ask me questions about grammar, and Artivists. What's going on for you this week? What are your goals? What are you planning on getting done? What did you get done last week? Let me know. Let's talk about it. What do you need support on? Have you got projects going that you need support on? All right, everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week. I'll have great, amazing news for you that I can share next week. And until then, bye-bye.